being so patient. Good evening. Welcome to the Southern Vermont Arts Center. Before we begin, I just have a couple of housekeeping items. There are exits located to the left and right, and in the back of the pavilion, should you need them. Restrooms are also to the back, and if you lost your Apple Watch, it will be at the table outside Arkell. I'm Amelia Wiggins, Executive Director, and I'm so delighted to partner with the Vermont Arts Council to host tonight's Governor's Art Awards. SVAC was founded nearly a century ago by a group of painters who came together to share their art with this community. And since then, we've been a home to artists and to audiences alike, exhibiting generations of artists in our Yester House, where we started this evening, presenting original performances and collaborating with a host of partners like the Manchester Music Festival, right here on the Arkell Pavilion stage, and welcoming more than 4,000 students each year to learn from remarkable teaching artists like tonight's honoree, Troy Wonderly. This year, more families than ever have turned to us for support and access to the arts. And in response, we've doubled our scholarships, launched new programs for neurodivergent and bilingual families, hosted free outdoor family concerts, because we believe everyone deserves extraordinary experiences with the arts. And while the arts face national cuts in funding, Vermont is investing boldly, led by Board President Bob Van Degna and Vermont Country Store proprietor Lyman Orton, and joined by over 75 local donors. We've raised money to construct a new building opening here on June 7th, 2026. This landmark, thank you. This landmark project will showcase the preeminent For the Love of Vermont collection and a vibrant contemporary art exhibition program, and we are so thrilled to share that our inaugural featured artist in the Van Degna Gallery will be tonight's honoree, Donna Ann McAdams. So here at SVAC, the arts truly are thriving, and this community knows that they are vital to our way of life and to our future. As we celebrate the artists and educators honored here tonight, I look forward to strengthening Vermont's creative sector and community together. And I am so grateful for the partnership and leadership that Susan McClure has extended to me since I started, and I welcome Susan to the stage.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2025 Governor's Arts Awards. I'm Susan Evans McClure, and I'm the Executive Director of the Vermont Arts Council, and I'm really thrilled to be with you here this evening. I start by acknowledging that in Vermont, we are in the unceded territory of the original inhabitants of Indocana, the Abenaki, and here in the southwest portion of the state, the Mohican people. Their traditional and ongoing relationship with the land calls us to learn to be better caretakers of the land as well. We offer respect to their ancestors, their elders, and their relations, past, present, and emerging. With our mission at the Vermont Arts Council to cultivate and advance the arts and creativity throughout Vermont, we offered this land acknowledgement in part to honor and raise awareness about Indigenous artists and culture bearers working in our state today. We commit to supporting and amplifying their work. Thank you to Amelia and the Southern Vermont Arts Center for this incredible space and for welcoming us so warmly to Manchester. Thank you to the Matt Steckler Trio for the great music to kick us off. Thank you. Thank you to the Vermont Arts Council team for all of their work in creating tonight's celebration, and thank you to our board members who are here tonight as well. And most importantly, thank all of you for coming together to celebrate the arts in Vermont. It's no small feat to come together. The very act of joining in celebration is powerful, and we are at a moment where we need our collective power as artists, as creators, as Vermonters, more than ever. We see time and again the power that our sector has to affect positive change in our communities. Through the work of artists and the work of the artists we're honoring tonight, you all are bringing our community together, you're showing us new ways of looking at the world, and you're helping us remember what being human is all about. This current moment requires courage and connection. Our artists and cultural organizations are being courageous. They're continuing to live by their values and do amazing work. And they're creating the very connections we need in our communities to build a path forward for our state and our nation. Honoring what is special about the arts in Vermont could not have come at a more vital time, and I'm so grateful to be here tonight with all of you to do just that. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Before we get started, I want to take a moment to note that each awardee this evening will be receiving a beautiful handmade work of art created by Tenzin Chopal. Tenzin is a fourth-generation Tibetan metal artist and Vermonter. Tonight's awards are functional and decorative lanterns made of metal, wood, paper, and translucent inks with brass elements in the shape of our Green Mountains. 4 of the awards are in the shape of silos, and the Governor's Award is in the shape of a sugar shack. These forms pay tribute to the agricultural roots of our state, and Tenzin hopes that they highlight how these artists and supporters of the arts are lighting the way for the rest of Vermont. So thank you to Tenzin for creating these pieces tonight. And now I'm pleased to introduce Mark Foley, Chair of the Board of Trustees of the Vermont Arts Council. Mark.
Thank you, Susan. Welcome, and as Susan said, I'm Mark Foley, and I'm the chair of the board of Vermont Arts Council, and I'm pleased to welcome you and honored to welcome you here tonight. On behalf of the board, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to the Arts Council staff, many of whom are here tonight, and to our executive director, Susan Evans McClure. Susan, you and your team have been navigating some truly extraordinary and challenging conditions over this last year with a determination and grace that we're all greatly appreciative of and thankful for. Would you please join me in recognizing and thanking our amazing team? At the Vermont Arts Council, we're working to build a state where artists thrive, where creativity is at the heart of our communities, and where all Vermonters have access to the arts in their lives and in their education. The arts are a key part of our identity here as a state, and our state needs the arts. A few numbers. The arts and culture sector contributes over $1.2 billion annually to our state's GDP and brings our communities together to learn, to connect, to question, and to celebrate. The Council's unique federal, state, and philanthropic partnerships leverage public and private investments to support communities across the state. In 2024, the Council awarded over $3.2 million in grants, and in every county in Vermont. But we know that is not enough to meet the needs. As the Council marks our 60th anniversary this year, we're deepening our commitment to increasing access to the arts and creativity for all Vermonters. Through our grant making, our partnership programs, our advocacy, and our training for artists and arts organizations, we're working to increase focus and investments in key areas to build a thriving arts ecosystem. We believe that when artists thrive, all Vermonters benefit. And so thank you all for being here tonight and being a part of this celebration of the arts in Vermont. And congratulations to all the incredible artists that we're honoring this evening. While Senator Peter Welch could not be with us in person, here is a brief message from the Senator sharing his congratulations to tonight's awardees.
I want to congratulate you for celebrating the arts in Vermont. I have so much appreciation, and I know I'm with all Vermonters in that sense, for all the artists, all the teachers, and all the advocates who have given so much of themselves to enrich the world around them. Hearing about the great work that you do, and you're doing it in a time of turmoil and uncertainty, it's really inspiring, and you have my deep gratitude and admiration. The arts are important, maybe more important than ever. Whether you live in a red state or a blue state, the arts help us to understand the world we live in. The arts remind us that we're not alone. The arts invoke our shared humanity. They foster empathy and give us bridges to connect with one another across our differences. And specifically, I would like to congratulate the 2025 Governor Arts Awards recipients. To Donna Ann McAdams for your exquisite photography. To Sue Higbee for your leadership and vision. To Troy Wonderly for mentoring and inspiring students. To Zon Estes for your tireless advocacy. And to the community service and engagement through Juniper Creative Arts. Each of you has made an extraordinary contribution to the arts, and tonight is a moment to honor and recognize your work. Vermont has always been a state that deeply values creativity, storytelling, and craftsmanship, and your work building and sustaining community connections is vital. We are fortunate to have so many dedicated, innovative, thought-provoking artists and art advocates in Vermont who keep the arts alive and thriving. And your impact is felt not only in Vermont, but across the entire country.
Thank you for bearing with us through the technical difficulties but meaningful words of Senator Peter Welch. And now I would like to invite the Deputy Director of the Vermont Arts Council, Amy Cunningham, to the stage to present the 2025 Arthur Williams Award for Meritorious Service to the Arts.
Hello. Oh boy, those lights are bright. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Amy Cunningham. I'm the Deputy Director at the Vermont Arts Council. I'm at the podium tonight on behalf of my wonderful coworkers to present the Arthur Williams Award, which is named for the Council's founding executive director. This award is selected by the staff to be presented to an individual or group who, like Arthur Williams, has displayed selfless public service and a devotion to artistic excellence in service of building strong communities in the state. It's such an honor and honestly a real joy to recognize Jennifer Herrera-Condrey, Will Casso-Condrey, and Alexa Herrera-Condrey of Juniper Creative Arts this evening as the recipients of the Arthur Williams Award. Their work, yes, let's hear it. Their work speaks volumes in color, scale, and soul. This is a collective, a family who have turned walls into windows to the world and public spaces into places of story, memory, and belonging. I first met Will in 2019 on a bus in Mississippi, of all places. I was pretty new into my time at the Arts Council, and I had the privilege to attend the Rural Generations Summit. It was a conference with hundreds of people from all over the country learning from each other about rural arts and placemaking. It was held in Jackson, Mississippi. I was at the opening reception and meeting one of the Mississippi hosts who said, "Oh, Vermont, I just met a really cool graffiti artist from Vermont." And I said, huh. And I'll admit that my first thought was that maybe he had Vermont mixed up with another northeastern state, which is entirely reasonable from someone from far away to mix up our small little states. And then I met two other people in the next day or so who said the same thing. There's this really cool graffiti artist from Vermont here. And I was like, wow, okay. So later in the conference, we're on buses headed out to Indianola, Mississippi, about a 2-hour drive from Jackson, to visit the B.B. King Museum. And in the din of voices and conversations on this bus, I heard the words Vermont and graffiti lifting up again. And I perked up and realized that the cool graffiti artist from Vermont is sitting in the row right in front of me. So we ended up sitting beside each other on the drive back that afternoon, and he told me about his artistic and community work in Trenton, New Jersey, the opportunities that brought him to Middlebury College to teach and share his work, which is where he met Jennifer, the love of his life, and how they built a life together in Brandon and the vision that they had for their family arts practice and creative business. And I was fascinated and so excited for them and so excited for Vermont. And it was less than a year later, by early 2020, that Juniper Creative Arts was formally launched. And since then, which is a relatively short period of time, Will, Jennifer, and Alexa have built something deeply special together. Not just murals, but a practice rooted in care, vision, and healing. They are masterful visual artists, And they are also masterful educators, facilitators, healers, and community builders. They have worked in deep collaboration with local organizations, schools, and communities to bring to life nearly 40 murals around the state that don't just beautify buildings, they are unique representations of the stories, the values, the experiences of that particular school, neighborhood, or community. They refer to the murals as fingerprints. Each one emphasizes the individuality and connection to that community. Alexa, Jennifer, and Will, your work is art, and its history, and its hope, and its connection. Whether you're speaking about the power of graffiti as democratic expression, or layering walls with Afrofuturist dreams, you're creating places where people can see themselves, where young folks can see possibility, where the African diaspora experience is not just represented, but celebrated. And the fact that you do this work as a family with love, creativity, and joy in each other is really beautiful in its own right. So today we honor your murals, and especially we honor the community building, the mentorship, and the magic that you've woven into each of them. So Will, Jennifer, and Alexa, congratulations, and thank you for reminding us of what's possible when we center care, imagination, and community. Come on up.
Oh man, wait, I gotta pull this thing up, so there we go. Come on over here, y'all. Oh man, I know I only got a couple minutes, so I'm gonna do my best to keep time. I'm the designated speaker of the family. No one else wanted this responsibility. So I didn't prepare anything. I always speak from the heart. So this is an honor. Arts Council, thank you. From all of us, we do this work truly from a place of love. Jennifer and I started doing this work together at Middlebury College. And one of the first things we noticed was how the young people didn't really have any creativity to share. It was kind of stripped out of them at a young age. And across the board, whether we were at Middlebury or at Princeton or at UVM, we got the same story. So when we decided to form our business, one of the things we were very intentional about was making sure that we work with young kids and show them the power of what art can do, even if it's just a hobby. You know, if you wanted to pursue art as a career, you know, that's a choice you have to make for yourself. But we wanted to show them the power of just having a practice centered in their life to help them through the difficult times. We formed this business during the pandemic, during the quarantine, where we actually, a month before quarantine, actually. So everything we started doing, we were just kind of figuring out for ourselves, learning to work together full time, all the time, all the time. So we had to go through those hurdles with ourselves before we can go out into the world and do this work from a place of authenticity. And, you know, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. We would spend months on the road, countless hours beyond our budget, making sure that these pieces of art, these fingerprints, were something that everyone could find something in themselves and in the work. You know, our murals are composed of community art, hundreds, if not thousands of pieces of art from children and community members, parents, teachers, staff. Everyone's allowed to contribute something, because at the end of the day, we want to have a good time. You know, we always believe, like, if you're making art and not having a good time, you're doing it wrong. So, yeah, Jennifer, you want to say anything? All right, yeah, of course, you know. Oh, before I go, thank you again. This is awesome. I think we were all kind of nervous coming up here. It was the quietest car ride ever. But yesterday was Jennifer's birthday. So So every mural project, her birthday for the last 7 years, we've been on mural projects. So I told her yesterday, it was like, well, now you're getting awarded for all that sacrifice. So if we can all just say happy birthday to Jennifer. What? Happy birthday, Jennifer. All right. No, that's even better. Happy birthday, dear Jennifer. Happy birthday to you. Thank you all. Thank you. This is awesome. And I'm going to get off the mic now so we can keep moving. So, she's a double nickel today, 55. Don't even look it. Thank you.
Oh, we're supposed to do a picture all together. Oh, you're in there too. Okay. Oh. Jeez. Hold on, let me go right in front. Am I supposed to be? We're doing it. Thank you. Thank you, Amy, and congratulations to Jennifer, Will, and Alexa. Next up is the Margaret L. Peggy Kannenstein Award for Arts Advocacy, which, oh my God, I haven't even said anything about it, but we love it, which honors Vermonters committed to furthering the arts in a wide range of fields, such as accessibility, administration, education, philanthropy, and elected office. Peggy Kannenstein, a former Arts Council board chair and passionate arts advocate for whom this award is named, passed away last year. She leaves behind a hugely impactful legacy. Through her work, she built a stronger future for the arts in Vermont and for all of us. This award tonight will be presented by Sarah Coffey. Yeah, Sarah is a dedicated community leader, advocate, organizer, and artist who previously represented Guilford and Vernon in the Vermont House of Representatives and is a great friend of the Vermont Arts Council and the arts in Vermont. Please join me in welcoming Sarah Coffey to present this award.
Oh, those lights are bright. Thank you for that very nice introduction, but really I am here to talk about Zon Eastis. So I hope everyone's having a good evening, and it is really my distinct honor as a friend, a former arts colleague, neighbor, and now constituent of Zon Eastis to present this award. As Susan mentioned, the Kannenstein Award for Arts Advocacy is an award that carries the name of Peggy Kannenstein, an extraordinary artist and former Vermont Arts Council chair, and many of you folks here knew her. Peggy's spirited commitment to the arts transformed Vermont's cultural landscape. She reminded us all that the arts are not just enrichment, but are essential to the life of our state. And this award honors a Vermonter who embodies that same spirit, whose vision, leadership, and service ensure that the arts continue to flourish for all. This year we honor my friend, my dear friend, Zon Eastis. Please give us him. Zon's journey in the arts began when he was just 5 years old, taking piano lessons from his Aunt Wanda in Western Kansas. A few years later, through a town-wide public school string orchestra program, he discovered the cello, the instrument that would become his lifelong artistic voice. From those beginnings, Zon built a career that spans continents, classrooms, concert halls, and communities. As a conductor and performer, he has led and inspired musicians across North America, Europe, and China. Here in Vermont, he has served as the conductor of the Windham Orchestra for more than 20 years, and more recently founded the Juno Orchestra, a professional chamber ensemble in Brattleboro, which is really such an enormous gift to our community. As an educator, he has taught cello and coached chamber music at Amherst College, Dartmouth College, Keene State College, and the Brattleboro Music Center, always sharing not just technique, but the joy of music itself. But Zahn's contributions extend far beyond the stage. He has been a builder of institutions, a convener of leaders, and a tireless advocate for the arts in Vermont. I first met Zahn when I returned back into Vermont in 2005, I think it was, when the then president, Ellen McCulloch Lovell, who's president of Marlborough College, convened a group of us, folks who were interested in forming partnerships and really believed in the potential for the arts to in our community. And that's when I met Zahn, and there was a really special energy and kind of electricity around him that I remembered, and that electricity continues today. And he has, over his career, he has helped guide organizations like the Brattleboro Music Center, the River Gallery School, and Latches Arts, where his leadership helped preserve and sustain one of Vermont's most beloved cultural landmarks, our theater at the Latches. He co-founded the Brattleboro Arts Initiative and the Alliance for the Arts, bringing leaders together to share resources, plan for the future, and imagine new possibilities for our communities. And at the Vermont Arts Council, Zahn served as Director of Outreach and Advancement, where he launched one of his most significant achievements, the Vermont Creative Network. This coalition brought together organizations, businesses, and individuals across the state to strengthen Vermont's creative sector through research, advocacy, and collaboration, work that continues to benefit Vermont today. Zahn was a key member in developing the Wyndham Cultural Plan, Vermont's first regional cultural plan, and today he carries his passion and advocacy for the arts into the Vermont State House, where he is serving in the Vermont House as the representative of the Wyndham 1 district, which is Guilford and Vernon. What unites all of this work, from conducting orchestras to founding organizations to shaping policy, is Zahn's deep belief in the power of the arts to connect us, transform us, and strengthen our communities. It's rare to find someone who combines artistry, advocacy, and leadership so seamlessly. Vermont has been profoundly impacted and enriched by Zahn's vision, his dedication, and his unshakable belief in the value for the arts. For all these reasons, and with great gratitude for his many contributions, it's my great honor to present the 2025 Canonstein Award for Arts Advocacy to Zahn Eastis. And I invite Zahn to join me, and let's give him a big round of
I'll make it work later. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. Beautiful words. Thank you. And thank you, Susan, for all you're doing. Oh, there went my, I might have to do this without any help here. Let's see. Okay, well, I will try. There we go. Moments like this make me, anyway, look back and think and cast over the arc of time. I mean, you can tell by looking at my white hair that I've been here for a long time. But I want to just remark that, out of pride, that when the Arts Council was founded in 1965, 66, maybe 67 was the first year that it handed out an award for the arts. In those days, it handed out one award, and that award went to a person from Guilford, Vermont. Rudolf Serkin, the world-famous pianist. So in some, I don't pretend to be like that at all, but in some way I love the connection, the idea. And as I look through the list of folks that have won awards over the last many years, there are quite a number of people from southern Vermont. And so I was thinking about my time here in Vermont and the fact that I got here, like probably many people, my story's not uncommon, except that I got here rather unknowingly. I was in graduate school. I decided to come here to just practice and hang out for a little while. I didn't really know about Vermont, but it did some magic on me. And now, well over 40 years later, I'm still here. And I have to say that what I encountered when I came here, one of the magics, the many magics that I discovered in Vermont, is the sense of openness in this state, the sense of willingness to share, the sense of a notion of collaboration and agreement about about the goodness of what it means to be human, and the wellness of community. I really so much appreciated that. So I feel like I sort of stumbled into Vermont and stumbled into the world that I've had here. It's been a great, I've had many really wonderful opportunities. I also want to remark on the fact that I'm standing on many great shoulders when I look over the list of folks, not only this year, but the folks that have received this award in the past, these governor's awards. And I've been so inspired by some of those people whom I know personally, like Peggy Kanstein, but there are awardees here in the room tonight that have inspired me so much to the work. So I want to thank everyone that led before and will keep going forward in their personal journeys in the arts. It's a remarkable state. I know that because I've lived around the country and other places, and Vermont is amazing. And I'm really grateful to be part of that big story. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it so much. Oh yes, I have to get my We're all good. Thank you. Thank you. Huh?
Just you, Zahn. Congratulations on our next award, the Ellen McCulloch Level Award for Arts Education, recognizes an arts educator, teaching artist, or administrator whose work has substantially deepened student engagement in the arts. The award is named in honor of Ellen McCulloch Level, former executive director of the Vermont Arts Council and current director of the Wolf Kahn Foundation. Unfortunately, Ellen could not be with us here this evening, but extends her congratulations to Troy, who you will be hearing about shortly. However, we are happy to have a special guest presenting the award, author, educator, performer, and the founder of Vermont's own Circus Smirkus, Rob Merman. Please join me in welcoming Rob.
Hi, everybody. When I first started trying to teach circus arts in Vermont back in the early 80s, I approached the Arts Council to try to get a grant to be a teaching artist. I was turned down. I tried to get schools to hire me to do a circus residency, which nobody had ever done. It took several years to get bookings in the schools. Circus was not considered an art form. It is today, and not only an art form, but it's a lifestyle. Yeah. So it took a few years, but then finally I got some grants from the Arts Council. Then enter Troy Wonderly. In fact, Troy, would you enter? Come on up. Troy Wonderly. Troy.
Be kind.
I know Troy from way back, and in fact, do you remember when we first met and how that happened?
1995, I'm a native Vermonter, proud native Vermonter. Went to art college in Baltimore, Maryland at the Maryland Institute College of Art, got a degree in graphic design, and then impressed my parents and ran away to clown college. And lo and behold, the very first year that I was at Clown College was the only year Rob was co-directing Clown College, and we were met in Baraboo, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I remember it well. You were just a youth, and he still is. Troy, I must say that standing up here together with you, we started doing circus residencies together around Vermont. We had a blast. We have somehow the same kind of humor, but I can say I'm very proud to stand up here next to you and say that you're my colleague and you're my friend. I can think of nobody else in the state of Vermont who is more deserving of this award for being a teaching artist. In fact, nobody deserves this better than Troy in the whole country. In fact, in the whole planet. I can just imagine Troy, you know, a couple of decades from now, going to Mars and teaching circus residencies to little Martian kids.
I'll still be going.
So I thank you for all your work, Troy.
I think it's funny that I got into this business in Clown College and was inspired most because I thought this was a business where I could share my heart and soul with the world without having to talk. For the last 30 years, all I've done is talk, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. I couldn't help but think when I'm sitting here how, as a kid, I had very little potential. And that's true. I had very little potential. I was just like any other kid in any other school around. I had parents. I had parents that believed in me. I had family who believed in me. My teachers believed in me. My state believed in me. Multiple times the state has reached out to me in different ways and said, we respect you, we honor you, we trust you, we're grateful that you're a part of our community. I had very little potential. The reason I got to where I am and where I'm going to continue to go is because of the support I've had. This is not a reward for Troy. This is a reward for everyone that has helped create me. I'm so grateful for my parents, grateful for my siblings, grateful for my mentors, grateful for my teachers, grateful for the people that hire me. I've probably done 25 camps right here in this facility. What a beautiful place to be honored. I constantly am asked, why do you teach circus? And I realized it's because it's the medium that allows me to teach the stuff I'm really passionate about. When I get a classroom of kids, 70, 80, 90, 450, like last week at a time, I look into each kid and I look for that potential. I don't care if they learn how to juggle. I do care that they find something within that experience that ignites their soul, that gives them hope, gives them an opportunity to present in a better version of themselves to the communities and to be celebrated for that. So for all those kids out there that feel like they have not much to give, I hope that I'm a person that can spark that inspiration and get them moving forward with a greater and grander version of themselves. Rob did that for me. I had very little understanding on how you could create an art form out of circus and how you could share that with the community. The first residency we did was a disaster together. The second was a blast, and we have not stopped. And I'm really grateful. The communities in New England have supported me gratefully. In the beginning of last year, I hit a milestone of having taught 115,000 kids how to present a show. Those kids and the smile they have on their face every minute we're working together is why I continue to do what I do at the pace that I continue to do it. When I was given this award, I was asked when I had a free day this fall, and I said I don't. I work every single day, and I'm so grateful for the state of Vermont that allows me to do that.
Troy, there's a couple of friends of yours who would like to say hello. Can we hit the music, please? Which one?
This is this.
Well, hold on. Can you all help me out? Through all my shows, when the kids come up and dazzle, I have everyone put their hands up and say, hey, on three. So I want everyone to put your hands up with enthusiasm and say, hey. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Move the top.
Never followed the circus act. Congratulations, Troy, and thank you for that joyful moment here, too. Next up is the Walter Cerf Medal for Outstanding Achievement in the Arts, which is awarded to an individual who has made a sustained contribution to the arts and has had a profound impact on Vermont's cultural life. Tonight, I'm happy to welcome Janet Van Fleet, a talented artist, one of the 6 founders of Studio Place Arts in Barrie, and a current board member there, to present tonight's Walter Cerf Medal for Outstanding Achievement in the Arts. Janet, please join us.
Whoa, hello. Sue and I are not going to do that. I'm just telling you that right now. So I am presenting, actually, the remarks of Pamela Polston, who was the person who actually nominated Sue for the award, but she had to be at a funeral. So I am pinch hitting and reading her remarks for you. And she says, at these Arts Award ceremonies, we don't talk enough about mud, filth, mold, or goo. Of course, I'm referring to flooded basements, a catastrophe that Sue Higbee has tackled at least a dozen times at Studio Place Arts in Barrie. It's probably safe to say that shoveling mud was not in the job description of executive director, a role she's had since 2003. Nor is disaster cleanup among the qualifications for the Walter Cerf Medal for Outstanding Achievement in the Arts. But Sue Higbee's pluckiness, work ethic, and willingness to literally get her hands dirty is matched by her energetic devotion to SPA, to the artists who work and exhibit there, and to the greater community. Sue organizes a couple dozen group and solo shows throughout the year on all 3 floors of the building, as well as in the tiny Quick Change Gallery, a repurposed phone booth, and at several auxiliary locations around town. Over the years, she's expanded SPA's class offerings for local children and adults and developed an artist in residence program. On most days, Sue is the gallery greeter too, a welcoming, informative tour guide and cheerleader for the artists on view. She's a passionate advocate for art outside the gallery as well, namely the granite sculptures throughout downtown. Sue conceived of and manages the Stone Sculpture Legacy Program, which has facilitated the creation of new granite sculptures, and she created an art stroll guide for viewers to view these works. To celebrate the city's proud history of quarrying and carving, Sue curates an annual stone show on exhibit right now through October 25th. Anyone who works at a nonprofit arts facility knows that developing these public-facing exhibits, events, and classes calls for exhaustive effort and creativity. Less glamorous behind-the-scenes tasks include fundraising, marketing, and site maintenance. Sue has steered the Arts Center through economic downturns, disruptive construction projects on Main Street, and a global pandemic. And yeah, way too many floods. In 2003, the Barrie City Council officially recognized Sue's 20 years of arts leadership at SPA, noting that she has made it into a regional cultural organization of great distinction. It's clear that she loves challenges, and directing SPA has presented many. But hundreds of artists, thousands of visitors, and arguably the entire state have benefited because Sue Higbee has, as the Walter Surf Medal does require, made a sustained contribution to the arts and had an impact on Vermont's cultural life. Congratulations, Sue. And I will add, on my own behalf, that I've been from the get-go at Studio Place Arts, and without Sue's leadership, Studio Place Arts would not still exist in all likelihood, much less be the incredible center for creativity that it is in central Vermont and regionally. Do you want to present it, or do you want me to present it?
Do you want me to hold this?
Janet, okay.
Oh boy,
Oopsie.
they're a little chippy.
Okay. Thank you so much, Janet, and also Susan. And Pamela, I wish she had been here. I'm so sorry for her loss. So the remarks about mud and goo describe some of our time at SPA. When you hear about nonprofit centers that are in the trenches, now you have a clear understanding that SPA is the real deal. Thank you for the fine honor that I've just received. I'm so pleased to receive this. And in addition, I want to extend my personal note of congratulations to all the other awardees, past and present. We selected Barrie for its outstanding art history, but we were often viewed as a long shot. We were an improbable group to take on the renovation of an 1880s historic building damaged by a major fire and the creation of a new art center from scratch. Why were we a long shot? Well, we were a group of women. Many of us were artists. We were from away. We had no real estate development experience, and the stakes were against us. We faced numerous natural disasters over the past 25 years, and we also faced man-made obstacles, quite literally, to our success. We have prevailed. And it goes, and it goes without saying that it was quite a feat to create a visual arts center in Vermont from scratch, with no members, certainly no major donors, and a municipal government that wasn't really entirely behind the idea. I'm sure that some of you have not yet visited Studio Place Arts. Please do. I think that you'll be really excited by our programs and our resources. I extend my sincere gratitude to the artists, volunteers, supporters, members, media partners, and others who have offered words of encouragement over the years and who have provided essential support. And tonight I'm recognizing 4 especially important volunteers who have been involved over the long haul: Priya Cambio, Daryl Garland, and then 2 who are here tonight, Janet Van Fleet and also Mark Wasco. We simply could not have achieved as much without these individuals and also others. And finally, I'm grateful for all of the many fine teachers and role models that have been in my life, including during my past career in DC and to my parents. And incidentally, I just wanted to say my parents were married in 1955 on this day, September 17th. So this would have been their 70th anniversary. Again, I thank you for inviting me here to accept this award. I'm very honored, and I look forward to helping to keep SPA the wonderful regional art center that it is. Thank you so much.
Time captured in light keeps those wounds fresh, like the day you made them. Keeps those wounds fresh, like the day you made them, like the day you got them. The Leica is a small camera. It fits in my hand, snugly in my hand. And the M2 was the camera that I chose to use in 1974. It was my first camera, and it's still my working tool. I do have other cameras. In the theater, I worked with an M3 and a 50mm lens. But on the street, I often work with the M2, and sometimes now I use an M6. But the camera was the perfect tool for me because it was small, it was intimate, it was quiet, and people didn't really notice it because it doesn't have a big lens or a large presence. So it was easy for me to have it with me all the time. And as a young photographer, Hank Wessel, who was my teacher at the Art Institute, he always had his camera on. And he told us back in the day that if you're not going to have your camera with you, you're going to miss something. So I took that to heart, and I always travel with my camera. I might have it on all day and not lift it up to my eye, but it's part of my personality. It's part of who I am. It's an accessory like a belt or a pair of shoes. I'm really influenced by illustration, black and white drawings. And so the black and white camera, the black and white film seemed to make sense to me. And as I went on, the color was not that interesting to me. When I go out to photograph, I don't really go out to photograph. I go out to do my day, and if I'm going someplace, I have my camera with me. And I'm not interested in setting things up or making people go certain places or do certain things or moving objects around. I'm not really interested in that. I'm more interested in discovering, having the unfolding happen before me as I walk through whatever activity I might be doing, whatever my day brings. Polk Street, which is where I ended up living after moving around for a while, was in its heyday, and gay pride was starting to become a word, a term, a feeling, a place of being that we hadn't experienced before. Coincidentally, when I was photographing once in Dolores Park, I ran out of film and I went to a camera shop, and that's where I met Harvey Milk. And he pretty much changed my life when he was shot dead by Dan White, along with George Moscone, in the November of 1978. Having moved to San Francisco in 73 and 78, I just felt like I didn't want to live there anymore. Because it seemed like every time you turned around, Joan Baez was singing in the streets for something. Harvey Milk, Jonestown. I had to leave. I had to go back east. In the fall of 78, I took a train to Peekskill and I photographed the Indian Point nuclear power plant. And then when the accident at Harrisburg happened on March 28th, 1979, I decided that I hadn't gotten on that train just as a coincidence, that I had gotten on that train for a reason, and I became very involved with the anti-nuclear movement. AIDS activism, by being part of ACT UP's actions that they had, and also at the same time the women's movement was being challenged again, abortion was being challenged again, so we had two things happening at the same time. Women and men both vulnerable to health care. And the camera was just a way of putting myself in a situation where I could photograph and maybe be useful, maybe take a picture that could change the way we looked at the world. Most of the time, the pictures just sat in a folder to be discovered later on in my darkroom. One day in the new century, I got a DM from a friend on Instagram. I had posted the photograph and the friend wrote, "Do you know who that man is holding up the black coffin in the center of your photograph?" I did not, I texted back, though I felt like I did. He had been in silver all this time. "He's a Soto saint," my friend explained, the Haitian-born performer, director, poet, AIDS activist. He danced with Martha Graham. "Great," I wrote back. "I'd like to send him a print, the photograph." "You can't," he replied. A Soto died of AIDS in 1994. He was 36 years old. I started to go to out to the Far Rockaways and teaching a workshop, and I noticed that most of the folks liked having their picture taken, but they didn't necessarily warm up to the cameras. So I started to bring in pictures, and I also started to do visual art with them. So we had this hobnob table of pictures that I had made, pictures and contact sheets, edits that they had made, and lots of visual arts material. And then one day, in Coney Island, where I worked for almost 15 years, a woman named Jane Smith took a colored pencil or a magic marker, I'm not sure what it was, and started coloring on one of the photographs that I had brought in that day. And that's how the hand-colored photograph series started. And when I was in West Virginia, I was thinking about what I might want to do. And so I joined this organization, and through this organization, I met a tremendous amount of women and started to photograph elder women and men, but mostly women, because women live longer than men. So I photographed Lottie Christian looking out the window in her home place. I photographed Georgie Hurd milking her cows. And that day I photographed Georgie Hurd. She got dressed up to go out and milk cows in the barn, and she had these little white go-go boots on. In 1984, very early in my tenure at PS 122, I photographed a performance called 24 Hours, and it was Yoshiko Chuma and the School of Hard Knocks, and it literally was 24 hours. She started at 8 p.m., and she ended 24 hours later. And I was able to photograph the performances, go upstairs, process the film, and make contact sheets, bring them down, and attach them to the columns at PS 122. Which was kind of an amazing experience when you think about that, how much time lapsed and how people were so tired at the end of 24 hours, but still really energized. And in the course of my time there, I photographed, my friends, Tim Miller, John Byrne, Beth Lapidus, many, many people, but then I made new friends. I made new friends because they were in the community and they were performing. So I was very fortunate enough to be able to finally meet and photograph Meredith Monk, who I had heard sing at St. Mark's Church way back in 1978, whose performance completely changed the way I thought about the live arts. I was the photographer who photographed the NEA4. Karen Finley, Holly Hughes, Tim Miller, and John Fleck. The NEA4 were just a few of the artists whose work was being challenged during the culture wars. There were many, many others. There was a lot of artists who were on the peripheral of PS 122 that didn't necessarily perform there, but still were my friends. But this particular group of artists, this particular case, went all the way to the Supreme Court, and we lost 8-1. When I met Brad Kessler, and we started living together in my apartment on 9th Street, 348 East 9th Street, he was really unhappy. He didn't really like the city. He was more of a country guy. And so we started to think about where we could go that would enable us to still maybe be in New York so we could work and make money, but be far enough away so that we could do something else. The guidelines for us finding a place was that it had to be a dead-end road, cat-safe road, and Brad needed to be able to go outside naked. Those were the searching features that we were searching for when we were looking for a house. And the goats didn't really show up until 2005. And Brad wrote a book called Goat Song, and I remember when the book came out in 2010 or 11, people said, well, are you going to get rid of the goats now because, you've created this project and you've got a book now? And I kept thinking, why would we do that? We love the goats. I met a woman at a place called Chestnut Ridge in Center Cambridge and started a relationship with Amy LeBaron, as her student on the back of a horse. And then eventually she brought me to the racetrack where I started to photograph the backside of the Saratoga racetrack. I started as a hot walker so I could learn about the labor of the racetrack and have a sense of what happened on the backside of the racetrack. It's not very often in your life that you get to meet somebody as fabulous as Maurice Sendak. And it's not very often in your life that you actually get to create something with him and his caretaker, best friend, kind of daughter, Lynn Caponera. And that's exactly what we did in 2009, was to come together and figure out how Maurice would be able to mentor young illustrators in the same way he was mentored by Crockett Johnson and Ruth Krauss in their little house in Connecticut. And so we set upon ourselves to do that. And in 2010, in the fall of 2010, the Sendak Fellowship started with 4 artists. I started to write these stories, from my joyous youth in Lake Ronkonkoma. And then as this project of the photographic archive continued, I decided that it would be interesting to maybe put the stories with the photographs. My camera's a black box. As a photographer at Performance Space 122 in New York City, I worked in a black box. A black box is a place that holds secrets. The black box in an airplane is what they look at or listen to or try and find when a plane goes down. A portfolio box is a black box. So my darkroom is a black box with an amber light. So it made sense to me that that's what it should be called. The black box, the revealer of the truths.
What a beautiful film telling the story of an incredible artist. The short documentary you just saw was created by the very talented filmmaker, arts leader, and advocate, John Kalaki. And was connected to the release of Donna Ann McAdams' 2025 photographic memoir, Black Box, which is great. John will be presenting the Governor's Award for Excellence in the Arts this evening to Donna Ann McAdams. This award, you can clap soon, I swear, I feel like I'm stalling from clapping. This award is the most distinguished recognition bestowed by the state of Vermont. Accordingly, it is reserved for Vermont artists who have had a profound impact on the field within the state of Vermont and beyond. Please join me in welcoming John Kalaki to the stage.
I am the luckiest person in this room because Donna Ann McAdams is my friend. And you don't often get to be friends with your heroes. And she's one of my heroes. 50 years into her remarkable career, she is still capturing indelible images of art, politics, and community. As the house photographer at PS 122, she was revered by the artists there as a collaborator who could illuminate their art beyond the stage. This body of work won her Obie and Bessie Awards in New York. Yeah. In the 90s, she talked about the culture wars, but other people like David Warnanovich, Ron Athey, and others became flashpoints in the malicious attack from the right. Donna had photographed them all. But despite intense pressure and offer of considerable money, she protected their images from being sensationalized by the conservative media, because she was there for the artists. Donna's also a street activist, an engaged social agitator, capturing queer liberation, ACT UP, anti-nuclear, pro-choice. But that agitprop that we saw on the film continues today. She photographed Christine Hallquist at the Burlington Pride Festival. She did Black Lives Matter marches. She went down to the White House at an anti-Trump protest, and there she was, not outside, but as part of the actions. And this is kind of the gift of Donna. And her portraits of others living with mental illness, rural farm workers, cloistered nuns, the backstretch workers, sort of demonstrate her profound empathy, that illuminating the joys and dignity in all of these unseen communities. Moving to Sandgate in 1998 with her husband, Brad Kessler, the wonderful writer, neighboring farmers and their work animals sort of became her focus because this is her community now. This is what Donna does. She embeds herself in communities, and along with the racetrack. She invites us as the viewers in the particularity of place and the innate humanity of the people she captures. She never stages a photograph. She never says, okay, would you stand over there and just be still here? No, look this way. She jumps into the situation, captures it. But what's astounding to me when you see her work is that it is so perfectly composed, because what's at the edges of the frame is as essential as what's at the center of the frame. Time and again, she captured those perfect moments. It's really beautiful. And I'm an animal lover. I have a little Shetland pony, and her portraits of animals are so sublime. Horses, cows, dogs, her beloved goats that you saw. But a few years ago in Green Mountain College, they had a pair of big work oxen. And one of them got sick. And so they were going to put one of them down. And the animal rights people kind of was like, well, you can't do that because oxen, when they work together as a pair, they're a pair. And so you're destroying both of their lives. And so there was a lot of protests about this. What does Donna Ann McAdams do? She goes with her camera, she goes into the field and photographs these enormous animals. Lou and Bill were their names. And she produced this beautiful depiction of elegance and power. And it was yet again another political act of Donna's with a social conscience. I love Donna. I love her politics. I love her aesthetics. One of my career highlights was curating one of the shows, Donna Ann McAdams, Performative Acts, we called it, and that toured to Brattleboro, Rutland, St. Johnsbury, Stowe, and Bennington. At 71, I had to ask Donna what her age was because I didn't know. She's not slowing down at all. She's still photographing with her Leica cameras, and she's still printing these resplendent black and white images in an analog darkroom. You know, she's old school. Yeah, it's, you heard that last year St. Lucie Books did this extraordinary memoir, Black Box, a photographic memoir. Brattleboro, the Vermont Center for Photography, did a section of the show. Pratt Manhattan Gallery gave her first New York show in relation to the book. It was a beautiful thing. This summer, she was again ensconced at the Saratoga racetrack. I wanted her to come up and do something. She said, no, the Travers is running. I got my priorities down. And ask her afterwards about Lincoln's hat at the Hildene down the road, okay? Those images will be coming up. She's always about the current project and then the next project. Even though she put this memoir together, it's never nostalgia about the work from the 80s or the 90s. It's about what she's doing today, which is really kind of the majesty of her artistry. She has work currently at the Current in Stowe. She has another exhibition opening, I think, October 8th at UVM in Burlington. And as you heard, next year, there's going to be a major show of Donna's here at the Southern Vermont Arts Council. So This is indeed Donna Ann McAdams' time, and I'm thrilled she's been recognized with the 2025 Governor's Award for Excellence in the Arts.
Okay, all right then. Hi, everybody. First, I'd like to thank everybody who's here in this beautiful space. I'm so grateful for you being here and sharing this experience for all of us. And I'm grateful to be in the company of such wonderful people who work in the arts. I'd like to thank the Vermont Arts Council, Susan. I'd like to thank them for what they do for the arts, how they support the arts, because right now, art has never been more important. Art and activism, so important, so important. I just would like to thank a couple of people, 3 people in particular who have been on my journey as an artist for a very long time. I could go on and on. There's a lot of people in this room who have contributed to my work as an artist and has supported me, but I'm going to thank John Kalaki, Lori Seid, and of course, Brad Kessler for supporting me all these years. And I'd also like to thank everybody who has stood in front of me when I lifted this little box up to my eye and trusted me with their likeness, their community, their life. I'm very, very grateful for the experience I've had photographing in community. So that's what I'd like to say. And I'm actually going to take a picture of all of you guys right now. I have to say, the light is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But anyway. Oh, yeah. Where is that hey guy? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I think
She did, yeah, she got it, yeah.
Does everybody have what they need before I leave the stage? Collaboration is important.
Congratulations, Donna Ann, and congratulations to all of our awardees this evening. And while this may be the end of our formal program, we do encourage you to keep the party and celebration going. Out in the lobby, behind the other side of the theater here, the bar is there, and there are many people to see, things to say, excitement to be had. After I stop talking, just a logistical moment, I'd like to invite all the awardees up on the stage for one final photo. And thank you for sharing your courage, your connection, your heart, and your art with us, and for making creativity happen in Vermont. Thank you.